And this is the time for the panel discussions. I would like to invite to join me here Mr. Matthew Koma, Head of Department Business Information Technology and Logistics, Center of Commerce and Management, RMIT, Vietnam. And Mr. Đoàn Hữu Đức, Founder and CEO of Vietnam Consulting Group, VCG. And Mr. Christopher Brickenborn Baselin, Chairman and Investor of Pangara George Group, and former CEO, co-founder of Lazada. And Mr. Francisco Trần Văn Linh, CEO of Vietnam Cocoa. At first, I would like to ask all the students here. I know that you guys are all studying in RMIT, but is there any one of you here having your own business?
I just do some of the more traditional stuff, teaching coffee, occasional consulting in technology stuff, but I'm impressed with him over there.
So how long have you doing that?
Well, I've been in some businesses for about 5 years now. This particular stuff I've been in for about 2 years now since I moved here, just looking for work to do.
Well, that sounds interesting. Okay, so welcome to Vietnam Business Environment, and we are asking the student about their startup, and some of them already own a business for themselves, and now we are sharing our experiences. So the gentleman here say that he doing some startup with the teaching, and we want to ask, like, in that time you're doing that, is there any memorable experience, or is there a little bit of failure or something that you've been through? I know, like, you don't want to share your secret, but I'm here to listen, so.
In that, when you first do it, you got to get used to being told no a lot, and then you develop your tougher character, and you continue to press forward. That was, for me, one of my biggest learning, was just saying, okay, I can take that no, but how about this?
There's something you can learn from school, but there's something you cannot. And you have to learn through your experience. You have to go out there and, like this gentleman here, to teach somebody and learn something back. How about your memorable lesson that you assume is learned beyond the knowledge that you learned from university?
My name is Francisco Trần Văn Linh, and you call me Linh or Francisco is a Christian name. And great pleasure to be here. I heard about this school quite a long time ago. And this is the first time I've been here. Thank you very much for giving me the chance to talk about that. What is the memories of the startup? I can tell you the first thing is a fear. That's a fear. That's a fear at the midnight you wake up and you feel fearful. And you fear that you may lose the money. You may fear that, okay, is it right or wrong thing to do? And you alone. That is the point. You know, you're scared to share with your friend that, okay, that's the idea, I really keen on that. I really go for that. But I can't tell even a close friend. So that's you alone. And you fear. So my feelings when I set up the company called Vietnam Cocoa John Stock Corporation. That now Vina Cacao, and you can see a lot of products in supermarket. It's not fear for nothing, because you fear and you really prepare for that. Because you fear, you're fearful, so you really go for that, read for that, learn from that, and you. A lot of things that you change yourself, but you don't think that you change yourself a lot. And we can say this is transform. You transform yourself from employee, for example, to startup mindset. And I'm now 10 years with my own company, with my saving money. With my saving money as well. So that's the kind of people, man.
It means a lot.
Sometimes you take your own save account for the business. Yeah, it's a business. So many times that I receive the questions like that, I share very honest from my heart that this is a fear, and you have to overcome that. you have overcome that. With your co-worker or partner, at least you have to find a good partner. Otherwise, you alone. And I think that a journey with 2 people, 3 people is a better journey with all you.
Yeah, so he mentioned about our startup. And here we have Mr. Christopher, who's the co-founder of Lazada. You start up your own companies and you achieve a lot of successful, which everyone here can see. So what is the difficulties that you have overcome, and also from yourself experiences, what should the student have to learn after they graduate from university?
It's a very broad question, of course. I think it's a lot of difficulties that you have to overcome when you start a company. I think it's maybe not so interesting in particular, I mean, specifically difficulties that I had with one company or the other. I think more interesting here is actually an attitude that you need to start a company. For me, it's really about 2 things. This is almost like the secret for success, but I'm fully willing to share this. Yeah, the first thing you need to do is to start, and don't just talk about starting. Yeah, 99% of people, or even more, they just talk and they never start. So if you want to be the 1%, yeah, do it and don't just talk about doing it. So out of the 1% that actually does what they say they're going to do, only 1% of those will keep on doing. Yeah? So key to success is get started and perseverance. Keep on going. So you will have difficulties. There will be endless difficulties. There will be everyday difficulties. There will be big difficulties. There will be legal difficulties. There will be money difficulties. All of the difficulties you can imagine. I think as a startup founder, you need to kind of love problems. You need to turn your head around and think, oh, that's a problem. That's great. You know, I'm going to have them every day. So that means that you will never, ever think about quitting. That's the most important rule. The only time you quit is if somebody kind of drags you out of the company. So that means kind of the bank comes, your company's bankrupt, or the government comes and they put you into prison. Basically, those 2 things are the only things that are possible stoppages of you running your company. You're going to have so many problems. So if you are ready to give up, you know, if it's in your mind that it gets this hard and then I'll give up, you will give up very early.
Of course, you have to face a lot of difficulties, like you said. One more thing I would like to ask Professor Matthews. That is something that the student will learn after school. But again, back to that questions as a professor, what do you think that the Vietnamese students in particular, what are they lacking up to be successful out there? For example, like networking skill or something like that?
Yeah, I would say, for example, in RMIT, I'll give an example of the things that we provide our students. For example, we encourage them to be part of what my colleague John said about the work integrated learning. So we push them so that they can experience the real world. We wanted them to know how they can network, how they can choose partners, how they can be ethical, because that's something that is also here, it's lacking. Because, for example, I'm sorry, maybe it's online, but how can you make sure that you don't even bribe people? They have to be social responsible and making sure that they're avoiding those things. And these are the things that we normally don't teach our students. Maybe the other thing that I can also say is, how can you choose a right partner for your business? Yes. Do we teach our students those skills? And that's something that maybe they can learn by joining clubs. Because here in RMIT, we have so many clubs. And these are the things that they'll be learning as part of being part of this community. That's what I can say.
Thank you so much, Professor. And I would like to have the same questions for Mr. Duc. As an operator of a company, and what you think that all the intern and especially Vietnamese students, they are lacking up the skill to be the part of the company and also later to run a company?
That's a lot of questions, but I'd like to start with Mr. Ling over there talking about fear. Well, we're here not to trying to scare all of the youngster here. Well, the truth is, I don't sleep alone, so I don't feel alone. That's important, right? So you must have your partner, you must have your significant other. So the things here that I think that go back to your questions, what the student is lacking of. I think that maybe that you guys are working so hard at talking with all about the quality of life. Sometimes you go out and trying to get some jobs that out while studying, and you forget that the friend sitting next to you in class is going to really make you become get another business in the near future, not some other stranger out there. If you cannot make friends with your classmate, if you cannot build trust among your classmates, trust is very important matter here. I believe that if you ask many other people here, Vietnamese people, Vietnamese community now we have a big problem with trust. We cannot trust people, so they cannot make the business. So that's why I don't mean that you guys shouldn't hear the lacking of the skill or whatever, but trust is one matter, and making friends and networking is something that you really looking at when you want to succeed in the near future.
Thank you so much.